The captain was 29. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Insane.
That
So there's a bunch
great.
of kids with with like 36 scuba tanks, a dive compressor, and an environmental science curriculum, just like sailing halfway around the world. And that was my introduction into offshore passage making. So it was my first couple offshore passages to scuba diving and to outdoor education, and the idea that like you could work in this alternate realm of not being in an office, right?
On the Wind is presented this season by two old friends of the podcast. First up is Rutgerson Marine, a Swedish sailing hardware company, and OPO, Offshore Passage Opportunities, run by our good friend Hank Schmidt. OPO is a fantastic resource if you want to build offshore experience. You join Hank's mailing list and get access to delivery opportunities all over the world, often sailing for free as crew. We'd obviously love to have you sailing with us at 59 North, but if you don't have the time or budget for that, OPO is a great alternative. And if you're a boat owner looking for crew, you can sign up for free. Check it out at sailopo.com. Rutgerson Marine makes some of the best sailing hardware out there, and we have been using them for a long time. Isbjørn is full of Rutgerson stuff, and it's just such great quality. We recently replaced the mainsail on Isbjørn, and the batten receptacles from the old mainsail, after 80,000 nautical miles, looked so great that I took them all off and kept them as spares. We also have blocks and pads and low friction rings and all sorts of great stuff from them. You can find them at rutgerson.se or at your local chandlery. Again, that's sailopo.com and rutgerson.se. Thanks to both for sponsoring this episode of the podcast. You're listening to On the Wind, the podcast about sailing. I'm your host, August Sandberg. Ben Soofer joined 59 North back in 2018, working with media and on the back end of this very podcast. He then started sailing as a mate, including joining me on my first offshore passage on Isbjørn. He's then gone on to start his own business and working with many others. We caught up to reminisce about the past, share some old sea stories, and talk about how Ben's made a unique career out of his passion.
Yeah, it's so good to see you. I think the last time we saw each other was in Andy's backyard, right? And you shared that Lagavulin with me at the camp.
Yeah, that's true. We got together. That was after our passage, right? Is that correct?
I think I was like still in college.
All right, that's true.
I think it was like a year after our passage, yeah. And it was when Andy had, you were there, Lee was there, I think Emma might have been there, and a bunch of other people kind of figuring out which direction 59 North would go. And I think they had just purchased Isbjørn. So Falcon wasn't even
a thing.
Yeah. So that's the last time we saw each other.
Very cool. Man, that is a long time ago.
Looks good. Do I sound good?
Yeah, you sound great, man, and you look great as well. A little pixelated, but still.
Thanks.
Still
I
very
think
good.
I look tired.
Well, what time is it in Baja?
It's only 2 p.m., but I just finished a 31-day backcountry expedition here. And I finished that up like 48 hours ago, so I'm still recovering. Just like finally I've been sleeping like 10 hours a night the past 2 nights, just recovering.
Oh, very cool, very cool. What was that about? That sounds cool.
So for the past 5 years, I've been working as a NOLS instructor. It's an American school called the National Outdoor Leadership School. And it's based in Wyoming. And this started as this backpacking mountaineering school. It's quite popular and pretty well known in the outdoor education space in the United States. But they also have a sailing program. And the sailing program is here in Baja, California, Mexico, where I am right now. And then also out in New Zealand. And so here in Baja, we run small Drascombe longboats. They're like these 22-foot open boats. They're yawls with a swinging centerboard and oar locks, so you can row. So we have sails, oars, and we also have a small auxiliary engine. And we do these 30-day expeditions out of in the Sea of Cortez here with college students and adults. And we go out there and we teach sailing, but also teaching aspects of leadership theory and environmental studies. So I've been doing that like twice a year for the past 5 years.
All right. Is that your base now, or where did you have a base, or where are you at?
I'm a little baseless at the moment, you know, like I'd say the closest thing I have to a base right now is Juneau, Alaska, where I've been spending the summer months. But I think just over the past couple of years, It's been like go for me, because I've been working down here for Knowles in Baja, California, Mexico. And then I've been working in Juneau, Alaska as a naturalist and captain, taking folks on like naturalist tours to see humpback whales, orcas, sea lions, birds, all that kind of stuff. And that's my summer gig. And then in the shoulder seasons, I deliver boats. I started my own sailboat delivery and like captain services company called Squallies 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Very cool. Very cool.
So that's been awesome.
All right.
And it's been going super well, just like keeping it small, working with like repeat customers and clients, mostly just friends, and helping them bring their boats either up and down the coast of the Americas or a little bit of like offshore racing support. So when folks race the Newport to Bermuda, I'll go out to Bermuda and bring their boats back to wherever they came from. And so the point to all this is, with all that, I'm like constantly bouncing between these places. I'll be like in Mexico for a month, and then I'll go to San Francisco, back to Alaska, then to New Zealand, then to Bermuda. It's just been, I'm really grateful for how much like work and experience that I've been able to gather in the past 2-3 years, but it's also kept me on the move. So that kind of home base community piece is what I'm looking forward to next, hopefully this year.
All right, very exciting. I remember I kind of lived like that for a while too, when especially with deliveries, they just kind of take you around so many exciting places, and you never kind of know where you're going to end up next. So that's exciting. But yeah, a little exhausting as well. That's true. Did you say that you got a German citizenship as well? Is that right?
Yeah, just recently. I haven't used it yet, but I have a passport. So that's a whole nother, like speaking of staying on the move, now I have a whole, the EU to go explore to properly leverage my citizenship. But it was because of my grandmother. She came over from Germany in, I think, 1939. So, and she was Jewish, so she lost her citizenship due to that religious persecution. And there's a bloodline law now where if you have it's up to your great relatives. Like my great grandmother or my great grandfather lost their German citizenship due to that prosecution. You can reinstate it, and so that's what I did. And it was pretty amazing handling these like old documents, like Nazi passports and birth certificates, handling those, scanning them at the local library. But then I got my passport, so yeah, open to work in Europe.
Wow, fantastic! It's good to hear, man. That was a good time to get out of Germany. That's a fascinating piece of family history there. Cool. So you do you have any plans of coming over, or was a specific goal in mind, or did you just take that opportunity to get the passport?
I just took the opportunity. It was something that it seemed like a good thing to have, even if I don't have any short-term ambitions of like coming over there. But even just for like, if you have the passport, you can work and invest and live in the EU, right, in the Schengen region. So I don't know if I'm saying that right, but there's a lot that I don't know.
Schengen,
Yeah, Schengen. There's a lot that I don't know, and I haven't even like looked at work opportunities, but I do know that it'll help me get work on, if I wanted to, yachts in the EU, or work for private citizens, or even just go live like in Palma or something. I don't know. I have no idea. But this theme of I have no idea will carry into what I'm planning to do in the future, because I have no clue, dude. I'm in a good spot right now, but I just need to make some decisions as to like where I'm headed, whether it's going to be education or like buy a boat and start my own thing, or try to like get back into the fold with like offshore sailing, like 59 North, or different companies. Or keep doing the naturalist thing.
Very cool. Yeah, sounds like that sounds like a bit of a crossroads for sure, and with many opportunities. So, where to kind of step back? How did you get into the sailing thing in the first place?
So, well before you met me, I think I was 8 years old when I went to my first sailing camp. I went to this camp called Camp Seagull in North Carolina. It's like a very traditional like American summer camp where you go and you stay at the camp for 4 weeks. And our summer break is like 2.5 months long. So this is almost half the summer break. And I would go to this
Cool.
camp where I'd be surrounded by all my best friends. And it was primarily a sailing camp. And they had a powerboating program too, and then a whole bunch of land stuff. So when you were younger, you would spend your whole mornings on the sea, whether it was sailing or powerboating, you could pick. And then the wind would pick up in the afternoon. So when you got older, I think like above 10 or something, then you were allowed to go out onto the water in the afternoon. And it was kind of a pick your own adventure camp, so you could do whatever you wanted, you just walked around. And for me, it was my first introduction into independence and like freedom and a little bit of self-reliance. And I found that sailing was something that I was really good at. And I think I just fell in love with the confidence and the fact that I could be competent at something, which I didn't really get the same feeling when I was home. I grew up in Bethesda, Maryland, right outside of Washington, D.C. And it's like a very, very privileged place to grow up, certainly. Like I, had it pretty easy coming up. I still benefit from that privilege today, but I wasn't super happy at home. But when I got to go to camp and be my own little man on a sailboat and like progressing to bigger and bigger boats and learning how to race, it was so fulfilling, and it still is. So that's how I learned to sail. And I spent 11 years going to this camp and eventually worked there as a sailing instructor. So teaching people how to sail anything from a sunfish. That was the first boat that I sailed, was like a little sunfish, a little cat-rigged dinghy, all the way to Allen Lightnings. And the Allen Lightning was an Olympic class race boat in, I think, the 80s and 90s. And so that was what I raced there and what I ended my like teaching / learning career as a kid on, were these Lightnings. They're like, it's just little racing sloops, but super fun.
Yeah, I mean, such an empowering thing to be doing, getting out on a boat and just out on the water and getting around. That's maybe like particularly if you have a very like a cushy, just like a cushy life can be very formative. I think just to get out on the water for sure. So yeah, no wonder that's kind of stuck with the sailing thing.
Yeah, I think like beyond the cushy thing, I think it's like the self-reliance and like independence, like forming character and having role models that are that you wouldn't have, I think, I didn't have at least in the front country or back home. So having those sailing role models at a young age in a sport that I think challenges us, as you know, in so many like fundamental ways, really paid off.
Very, very cool. And then, of course, we both we met through 59 North. And how did you end up with 59 North? What was the story there?
Yeah, I was a junior in college. I think I was 19 years old, and I had just finished. I had gone to college for 1 year and was like not really learning anything and needed to take a gap year. So I did a semester experience as a student. And as a student, I turned 20 on the trip. I sailed from the British Virgin Islands through the Panama Canal to Tahiti as a student on this 116-foot steel schooner called Argo. And the program still runs today. Now they have two boats, Argo and Vela. It's an amazing program. It was me and like 20 other students and then maybe 8 staff members. And I don't think anyone on the boat was over the age of 30 when I did it, which is nuts. But we just sailed, like, and
nobody, not even the staff, or like
the
nobody?
Captain was 29.
Fantastic,
insane.
That's
There's a bunch
great.
of kids with with 36 scuba tanks, a dive compressor, and an environmental science curriculum, just like sailing halfway around the world. And that was my introduction into offshore passage making. So it was my first couple offshore passages to scuba diving, and to outdoor education, and the idea that like you could work in this alternate realm of not being in an office, right? So that's the preface, and then after that I went back to school, but had this bug of like working outside and offshore passage making in the back of my mind, and I really wanted to finish school. It was something that like I had to do, that I felt like I had already invested so much in. My parents had invested a lot of money into my education too. I was like, I should probably see this through. But while I was a junior in college, I cold emailed a bunch of different outdoor companies because I wanted some real life experience. I was studying marketing and public relations. And out of the 12, 15 companies I emailed, only one got back to me, these cold emails, and it was Andy. And Andy had gotten back to me and was like, oh, we are looking for an intern. I can't pay you, but like you can help us out for 10 hours a week, and like we can talk. And so that was my start of my involvement in 59 North. And I was the first one to start working with them. I was like the first addition to the Andy and Mia team. And they started me off.
Oh yeah, you were the first employee, so to speak, or the intern, I guess.
Well, they started paying me eventually, but it started here on this podcast. I would like do a little bit of post production alongside Lee Cumberland. Lee would do all the audio and like file stuff, and I would do the art, and I would upload, and I would do the guest relations with the emailing back and forth, and a little bit of trying to find new guests. And some later, eventually, when they started paying me, I started running PR campaigns and pitching sponsors and pitching guests and stuff like that. And yeah, that was the start. And in my mind, I was like, this is perfect. I'm like doing this corporate thing that I want, and I also have this like I'm dabbling in the sailing world. But as I continued to like keep one foot in the sailing and one foot in the corporate, slowly became more and more, I slowly became more and more obsessed with the sailing. And then eventually, after I graduated, Andy invited me to go sailing. I think I'd been living on Isbjørn for 2 months in Annapolis, just boat sitting before, which was exciting to me as like a 22-year-old college graduate. And then Andy told me the boat was going to the Caribbean and that you were going to be the captain, along with Ben Dorr.
That's
and I
right.
was the apprentice. Right. And so, yeah, we set sail. That was my first 59 North passage. And yeah, that was, I still remember that a lot. And I remember the things I remember the most about it are your leadership, just like the calm, controlled way. And you were still, how old were you? You were young.
This is 6 years ago, was that right? 6 years ago? Jeez, how old am I? 39. Yeah, so 33, I guess. I would have been then.
To me, you were like 5 years older than me. I don't know why I thought that you were. You're like, that's still young. Yeah, you're still young. You're a young guy.
I was. Well, thank you, Ben. Yes, I wouldn't like. I was 10 years older than you then. Yeah, that's right.
So, but
thank you for that. Yeah, I felt young.
I was so impressed.
And that was also my.
It was your first passage of 59 North, right?
Yeah, it was. Or not with. I had gone sailing on Isbjørn with Andy, a few passages, but that was my first trip on Isbjørn. And the first skippering I did for 59 North, and the first trip on Isbjørn. That's right. So that was very exciting. I remember that very well too. And we were in Annapolis there. Yeah, I met you on the boat. You'd been there for a while, and it was very helpful to have you there just to kind of show me, because I hadn't really been on the boat before, right? So that was I had to learn all the ropes. And I guess I had briefly been aboard up in Svalbard the year before when I first met Andy and Mia up there in the high Arctic. But that was just on board for drinks. I hadn't been digging around and kind of get to knowing the boat. So that was really cool to have you there to kind of show me everything.
You loaned them the gun that they used, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Because I was doing the media for the Svalbard trip. That's how I remember. I was still an intern when that happened.
Oh, wow, really?
Cool. Yeah, so I was like behind the scenes posting to social media Like, I think they would they would send me pictures and blog posts on the Iridium, and I would publish them to the website. And
Cool.
I'm sure that's how I heard about you at first. And then we got to meet. But yeah, let me bring it back to the passage itself. I just remember, you are the first skipper that I've worked with who doesn't get emotional, who is like this calm, cool, even keeled, like take a step back. I mean, the proverbial, like I remember you telling me like, whenever something goes wrong, you just like step back and smoke the proverbial cigarette and just, nothing's going to happen. Like, of course, if you're going to crash into a jetty, yeah, step in and do something. But I think what had happened on one of our passage is that the forestay tang snapped.
Yeah, failed. That's right. That was on that trip. That was a pretty big deal. Yeah.
And I just slept through that somehow, but I like woke up for my watch, and you and Ben Dorr were just like thinking about how to solve it, and it's shaking around, and it's just like, yeah, there's no, we can slow down a little bit in the way we approach solving our problems, whether they're technical or they're like person-based, right? So I thought that was one of my key takeaways of working with you. And the second one was after the passage when your brother came on board and we were just cruising around the BVIs. I caught a fish because Andy had lent me his fishing rod, and I like have very little fishing experience, almost zero, and we caught a mackerel, and I brought it in. I was like freaking out. What do I do? And you just reached over and you punched it in the face and like killed it with like one smack. And I was like, oh my God. This guy's a legend. How did he do that? And like now I'm more into fishing, but that was hilarious. And like that is like in there. That's in there, dude. Cool. Great leadership, calm under pressure.
Oh, thanks.
It's an inspiration.
Thanks, buddy.
It's how I try to lead.
Thanks. Yeah, that was I do try to stay calm, whether it's a broken stay or a fish that needs some punching to the face. But yeah, that was dispatched.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I remember that first day breaking. That was quite the thing. And you sleeping through that was quite impressive, because it woke me up with a start. Like the whole boat was just like it was like somebody hit the boat with a sledgehammer. But it was a very good sleeping heart, I think. To sleep through that. But yeah, that was
I guess so.
That was pretty violent. But yes, I do very much think that when you're like out in the ocean and you have most often times you have a lot more time to think and to kind of make a plan than people might realize. Like often these emergencies often will take hours, days before even stuff like floodings and serious hardware failure. And I've found that often if you just like jump to it and just run out and just do kind of a very reactive, just trying to solve things as quickly as possible, you can often end up kind of making things worse. Or the classic, you just like forget every safety rule there is and just like run up on deck in your underwear to kind of try and solve things, and then the dominoes starts to fall. So the proverbial cigarette is definitely the way to go, I think. So that was cool that you remember that in the same way. And I remember that trip so well, and I also thought you did an amazing job on I guess you were like the apprentice. That was like the your role, but in my eyes you were definitely a mate on that trip, and you did a lot of great work, both like on the sailing and watch keeping side, and just like cooking and just being all over these things, and spreading the kind of love and enthusiasm around you as you do, which was really cool. And I think, did you catch a fish going down as well?
Probably. I'm sure I had a line out. I think I caught a mahi.
Yeah, that's right.
I caught a mahi in Ben Dor. I think Ben Dor. We're talking about killing fish a lot, but Ben Dor killed it with a dive weight. I'm pretty sure.
With a what? With a
dive weight. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, a dive weight. Oh, right. Oh, it's like he smacked it in the head
Yeah.
with that. Oh, yeah. That would work. Nice.
Yeah. So 2 interesting ways of dispatching fish on that boat.
There you go.
You know,
learning so much.
but it works. It works.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I remember we did a ton of celestial too on that passage. That was really fun. And I remember we had Mark Jablow was on sailing with us,
Yeah.
and he was really good. You know, he used to pilot, you know, bombers and stuff, and he could do like the manual spherical trigonometry method and all these things, and we were nerding out. That was really, really cool. So I learned a lot.
I remember him. He's super
on that
smart.
trip as well. And we observed the transit of Mercury through this kind of pinhole camera thing that I think, was that you who made that, or was that Mark maybe? That was something I remember really well. We were able to observe that. I think that was probably Mark who did that. He was really very into all of the astronomy stuff. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite the passage that was. And also when we came ashore with our forestay just tied up, and we especially you did a great job on just the repairs and all that, and we had to kind of run around and try and figure out what had happened to the forestay, and to like fix this up, because of course we were going sailing again pretty soon. And
Yeah. I feel like that kind of like sentiment applies to every like charter turnaround that I've ever had. It's like we get into port, like something's broken, we have to run all over town to find one specific part. Like we somehow find it or get it shipped in and install it with like a day or 2 to spare before the next crew arrives, or even like doing it while the crew is there. That's hilarious. But that's like what sailing is, right? Stuff's gonna break.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, it seems like often it's kind of these somebody up there looking out for us, how we're just able to fix these things like last minute. So it's and that is a good thing. But we had some time though. It was really fun. We went cruising around for a little while with my brother, and we were just hanging out. That was just some good times.
Yeah.
So I guess we were that
So
rushed.
much fun. And like, yeah, we were hanging out. I think Isbjørn was also cruising around. So I remember we met up with Andy and the crew, and like Jenny Halpap, and everybody was like at the beach club, wherever marina we were in. And then Andy climbed a coconut tree to get us coconuts, which was hilarious. Just like in the middle of the restaurant.
That's true.
And then then we went cruising.
Yeah, that was
That was so much fun.
good times.
That was a super formative experience for me as well. Like that cruise and hanging out with Andy and you and everybody at like the marina, and experiencing the cruising after the work just was like so. It was so much fun for me, and that really reaffirmed took me further away from the corporate world and more into the sailing lifestyle. Yeah.
Very good, very good. I'm pleased to have had that effect on you. So to be a part of your leading
You're
away
responsible for this.
Great, yeah.
It's your fault.
Yeah, I messed you up. Oh, that's great. I had similar things happen to me. So where I used to have a real job, and then the sailing kind of gradually took over my life, and I'm very, very happy that it did. Although it's not always easy, but it's I think it's better to live a fun and hard life. So I think it's all worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if I remember correctly, you were going off to sail with Broadreach after our trip. Is that right? Did you end up doing that, or?
Yeah, that's correct. Before sailing with Broadreach, I sailed 59 North, and then I sailed with Seamester as a mate and medical officer.
Oh, cool.
So I actually worked for them as well, and that was right after COVID. So I was sailing 59 North. COVID hits when I'm doing my dive master in Honduras, and I get stuck in Honduras for an extra month on Utila, which is near Roatan, a popular like cruise port.
Right.
And I somehow like get back home, and I hop right on Argo again to work for a semester. And this was during the pandemic, so we managed to like finagle this idea where the boat became our pod. We just didn't really get on and off the boat very often, and we sailed from Mystic, Connecticut to the Azores down to the Canaries, and then Canaries back to the Caribbean, and we got off the boat maybe 5 times.
Wow, that is nuts.
Yeah, it was intense. It was a lot of sailing. It was great. It was a great like learning and leadership opportunity for me. But then after that semester, I was like, okay, that was intense. And my next experience was sailing for Broadreach, also in the Caribbean, in the Dutch Caribbean.
Yeah, because that was I remember you. I remember you got that gig, and I thought like this is great. This is perfect for Ben. He's gonna nail this one. So I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever heard how that went. How was it? And what is it for those who's not?
It was great.
Those who are not familiar with the program, could you just tell them what it is?
Yeah, perfect. So Broadreach is basically a summer camp for high school age students. It's a program on catamarans that takes place based out of St. Martin in the summers. And students, mostly American, some international, will come to St. Martin for these 12 to 21 day diving and sailing adventures. So I worked as a captain and dive master, and I would have a dive instructor on the boat as well. They would give us a dive compressor, 16 tanks, and like 12 kids, and just say, see you later. I was 23. And so I'd just be like, all right, cool. And you like sail around in a flotilla of maybe 2 or 3 other skippers, and everyone's just on the same program of sailing, diving, hanging out, going on cool hikes. Like it was so much fun. And it paid nothing. So that's why I only did it for 1 season.
Oh, man.
But I think the experience that I got from that, and especially it was my first time being a captain, being responsible for my own ship with people aboard. And so that was really empowering and pretty challenging at times, like anchoring, fixing things, using the dinghy, diving to replace the propeller, and sailing. I got so much experience maneuvering catamarans with one engine down, because we used charter cats and the engines were always crapping out on us. So, which would come into play later during my delivery career with a much more expensive catamaran with an engine that went down, and I had to put it on a dock in Morro Bay. And I did it because of Broadreach. So shout out Broadreach.
There you go. Well done, Broadreach. Yeah, I mean there's something about just like being in charge, right? That you just cannot possibly learn any other way. Like you just need to be the person in charge and have to make all these decisions and manage the people, which is probably not easy with a bunch of kids and a boat that's falling apart. And so I mean that sounds very challenging indeed. So but I think those challenges are why I still am hooked on this like sailing expedition travel lifestyle. So I mean, it kind of brings me into what I did next after Broadreach, is working for Knowles. I became an instructor for the National Outdoor Leadership School, which we have 12 campuses all over the world, and we run everything from hiking to mountaineering, sea kayaking, sailing, pack rafting, to like a lot of different types of programs. But the focus of the school is on expedition leadership. And so what that looks like practically is how to be a designated leader, like how to be a captain, right? But also how to be an active follower. Like how can you enable your designated leader to be the best possible, especially when you might be more competent? How can you still be a good follower? Things like self-leadership and peer leadership, and then all these skills that fit into these roles is what Knowles is all about to me. And the technical skills of being able to go survive for 30 days on a small 22-foot open boat or a bigger keel boat. Yeah. So then, that's what I've been doing down here.
It's just like this leadership education. And as much as we teach it to the university students and adults who come down here, the primary reason I'm here is for myself. I feel like I take away so much in this leadership curriculum. And I teach all these classes on sailing, on leadership, on risk management, on how to dig a cat hole, how to cook outside. Do you know what a cat hole is?
It's I don't know the word. Is that when you make like like dig a stove, or what is it?
You're close. Well, for you and potentially other audience members who don't know, if you know what a cat hole is, that was really funny. But it's how you poop outside and also leave no trace. You dig a hole, and you poop in the hole, and then you cover it up.
Oh, clever. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. We no, I've not done that. I've used bags. That's my go-to.
You haven't done that?
I've used bags a lot. So that's my go-to
good.
method.
Bags are good.
When I was in the
as long as you're not leaving a trace.
That's right. Yeah, no. And when I was in the army, we were kind of doing that. Was in this kind of unit that trained to sneak in behind enemy lines and stuff, and the whole thing was to like really not leave a trace, like because you would be tracked. So we would poop in bags and then carry the bags with us for like weeks. So that was my way of doing it. Yeah, great. It's really nice. It just warms your hands really well when it's freezing, which it often was. So it's
put it in your sleeping bag.
So it's not all bad. But man, that sounds really.
Yeah, it's just everybody poops,
Yeah, that's right. It's a very very natural thing.
It's been super fun.
Cool. And then did you do your deliveries? You do your deliveries on the side then, and you kind of have the two?
It really, right now, it depends on how much energy I have. Like in 2024, the deliveries was like a big part of my year. I ran, I think, 5 different deliveries, and most of them were 3 to 4 weeks long. So it took up like half the year, right?
Wow. Yeah.
Versus like last year, I think I ran 3, and one of them was a bit shorter. So it really just depends on what my clients are doing with their boats and other side projects and personal passion projects that I have going on, and where my priorities lie that year.
Very cool.
Yeah. But most notably, like the coolest delivery I've done was for this guy named Anders. He has a CNC 65. So like pretty close to, really beautiful boat. It was made for the owner of CNC, and he bought it in Anacortes, Washington. It was this beautiful, maybe like 3/4 keel, skeg-hung rudder, cutter rig, center cockpit vessel, and it was a ketch.
Wow.
And we sailed that boat from Anacortes around Vancouver Island, which is, are you familiar with the Pacific Northwest?
Yeah, a little bit. I haven't been there myself, but I've studied the charts.
Nice. Well, it's gorgeous cruising terrain. It's whales, bears on the coast, otters everywhere, and lots of people cruising out there. So lots of good resources. But there are a lot of tidal gates. Most notably the Seymour Narrows, where if you don't hit it at slack water, I think it runs at 16 knots during spring tide.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, which is like a full-on rapid.
Fuck, yeah.
So really exciting transit around, and then an offshore passage down to San Francisco. And that was the first big one that I did for Squallies, which is the name of the company. And that was really, again, empowering. And I was like, I'm in control here. I had to lead. I had to facilitate the crew. There was a little bit of like some conflicts among the crew, just like petty conflicts, because we were on the boat for 36 days and not completely offshore. So it wasn't like every moment is full of something.
Yeah.
Like there were days where we were on anchor and days where we were going on a hike. And so when you have that slower time when conflicts can arise and you're together for that long, you have to facilitate conflict resolution, which is where my NOLS experience came in. So it's all working together quite nicely, right?
There you go. Yeah, it's true. Like people on when you're out in the big ocean, people just really don't have the time or the energy to like socialize or really interact at all. So yeah, no, I've had that same experience. Is on the coastal trips. That's when people kind of the boat gets a little cramped, maybe, or can feel that way sometimes. But how was that? So did you sail with was that the owners were the crew, or did you hire them, or how do you run that?
Yeah, so on that particular trip, the owner was aboard, and I was hired not only as a captain but as a coach as well. And so the goal was to get the boat to San Francisco, but to put miles under the keel so that the owner could understand how to use this boat, and also so that the insurance would sign off on him and give him a green light. When he purchased the boat, he didn't have the ability to put it in the water without a captain on board.
Right.
And so I was hired. I commissioned the vessel. We got it onto the dock. And then, yeah, he brought some friends along. I hired a first mate. And for my other deliveries, I'll typically hire one professional sailor as my mate. And then I'll source from my friends, and my old Knowles students often will just come along as volunteers. And I can usually fly them out, but yeah, they're usually unpaid, and they're doing it for the experience.
That sounds like a great pool of sailors that you could bring with you, because you'll really get to know them, and you get to see their strengths and weaknesses, and then you can exploit them later on. I mean, give them an amazing opportunity to come sailing.
I taught them how to sail.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Really cool.
They would know nothing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. No, it's been great. So it's been that, but then most recently it's been up and down between California and Mexico. Just I've gotten to know this part of the coast really well. And then some East Coast stuff out of the Chesapeake Bay and the Caribbean.
Cool.
So yeah, all over.
Yeah.
Wherever people want me.
Very cool. What happened to that catamaran engine?
So it was a twofold problem. The first issue was we were motoring from San Francisco down towards Magdalena Bay in Baja California. So I think we had just left San Diego and we were heading south. So we were passing, no, we must have been further north. Sorry. We were passing Morro Bay in about this like pea soup fog. You could see maybe 10 feet off the boat in any direction. And it's a 55-foot catamaran. And we're motoring along, zero wind, zero visibility, and all the electronics just shut off completely. And it's a 2023 vessel, so everything, including the heads, like everything is electronic. Everything dies, and I was like, interesting. That's fine. Go to the battery bank, and it's this huge bank, 8 lithium batteries, Master Volt batteries, and they all turn themselves off. And I was like, oh, weird, like, I'll turn like 3 of them on again. Let's see what happens. So I turn 3 of them on. Everything starts up, goes for 10 minutes. And meanwhile, the clients on board are like they're at work on using their Starlink. So they're like really asking me to keep the power on.
All right.
And I was like, I'm not an electrician, but I can try. And so I go up and I turn the batteries back on. And 10 minutes later, they flip themselves off. And it's like, okay, these are lithium batteries that are turning themselves off. I probably don't want to we don't want to hold these open. We don't want to.
Don't want to get your screwdriver
the instruction
out.
manual. Yeah, I'm not opening up this battery, and I'm not taping the on switch, the breaker over. But I open the instruction manual, and it just says like, if batteries are turning themselves off, contact Master Volt. It's like, what are you going to do with, how are you going to contact them if this happens anywhere besides the dock? So zero visibility, the only thing I have is like the position from our log 30 minutes before. And I start getting out the paper charts, and I remember I have my phone. So I pull out my phone, get Navionics on. We're 10 miles away from Morro Bay. And so I motor us into Morro Bay, which is a small town, Central California, just north of San Luis Obispo, and it has a harbor on a river, and so there's usually around like 2 to 4 knots of current depending on when the tide is flooding or ebbing. So we were fighting this ebb tide as we came in with 50 feet of visibility, tiny little entrance with breaking waves against it. And it's just this is fine. I've done stuff like this before, but just navigating by phone. And we get in, and just as I'm about to snag a mooring in the harbor, I just feel a vibration on the port engine, and then just a free spin, and we had thrown the prop in the harbor. And it was
thrown you.
It was a nice prop.
You lost you lost it? It fell off.
It fell off.
Oh,
it fell off. I'd come into neutral. I'd come into reverse, and it flung the prop in reverse somehow.
Oh yeah.
After 800 miles of travel, so I was like, okay, we still managed to snag the mooring.
Wow.
But then we decided to get the electrician aboard. We had to get to the dock. And so we took the boat off the mooring. And the best way to put a catamaran on a dock with one engine is to get some momentum. So you need some runway in order to get enough speed to start going straight, to get some steerage with the rudders, right? So you do one loop-de-loop. You do a full circle. So we only had the starboard engine, so we did a full counterclockwise circle. And then that gave me enough speed to have steerage. And then you're pretty much just going by rudder and maybe a little bit of engine. But we're able to land the boat on the tiny Morro Bay Yacht Club dock that's meant for dinghies. So
not bad.
Tolerance to adversity, I think just good seamanship. I think if the power of hindsight, I think I just would have waited a couple days for the new propeller to arrive and put that on and then go to the dock.
Yeah, it's docking catamarans with one engine. I've done that several times as well because I've also had engine failures on them. And docking catamarans with two engines, it's just the easiest thing in the world. And then you lose one engine and it's impossible. So good job. Were you able to fix the batteries in the end? Was that a BMS failure or what happened?
It was an alternator overcharge.
Right.
So the batteries were overcharging because of a faulty alternator, and so the batteries were turning themselves off in order to not damage themselves. And lithium batteries, so they don't blow up and catch on fire. So it was good that they were doing their job.
True.
And we fixed that within 5 days or something, and then continued onwards.
Very cool.
So
not bad.
All's well that ends well.
True. Yeah. Good stuff. All right. Well, exciting, lots of exciting adventures you're having over there. Sounds like. What's and you kind of alluded to being at a little bit of a crossroads and kind of looking into the crystal ball a little bit. What do you think you're going to be doing in the future?
Well, when after the nonstop sailing, I got a little burnt out, and so I started to focus more on naturalism and becoming a naturalist, working on boats as a captain of power boats up in Alaska, teaching people about whales, about local ecosystems up there. And that's become a bigger and bigger part of my life. But I'm excited to somehow combine my passion for the communities that we make on these expeditions and my stoke for the environment with sailing again. I miss sailing. It's what got me out here initially, and I still get to sail here with Knowles and with Squallies, but I would love to either start my own program, buy a boat, start something small, or start racing sailboats.
Well, okay.
I'd love to get into some offshore racing,
cool.
Which has nothing to do with the prior thing I just said. I know, but I think offshore racing, starting my own program, working with other people who already have a program like that going. Yeah, I don't know. I am at a crossroads right now, and I'm still trying to figure it out. This call and interview is at a very interesting time for me.
Yeah, very very interesting.
Yeah.
Did you end up buying a boat back then, or have you had a boat?
No, never.
Right on.
I know.
That's also
just-
something that teaches you some things that there's just no other way of learning to just owning your own boat. So yeah, I can recommend that. Well, in a way, it comes with a lot of problems. That's how you learn so much. But yeah, that sounds cool though.
Yeah. I feel like I've spent, yeah. Yeah, I've spent this past couple years like on other people's boats, and mostly getting paid to do it. And so the idea of like spending all of my money on a boat, and I feel like I could do it if I had a specific goal in mind. Like, am I going to go try to sail around the world? Am I going to do the Northwest Passage? Am I going to start a program to bring other people with me? That kind of stuff would interest me, but to just buy a boat just to have it seems like a good way to lose all my money
Yes, yeah, no, for sure.
and get really frustrated also.
For sure, yeah. No, I think yeah, absolutely, it should have a purpose and a meaning. I think buying a boat just to have it would probably not be a great idea. But that's cool that you're looking into like starting your own thing. That would be that'd be exciting. And, yeah, it's a lot of people will kind of end up there in the end, right? They work for other people and they try different things and then they start their own thing. And it's like it's a fairly common like question that I get. It's like how do you get into the sailing thing? Because a lot of people like they start having real jobs, so to speak, and then they kind of get a little burned out or something, and they just want to make this their profession, like this passion of theirs, which is sailing, and which is what the two of us did, right? And do you now, kind of looking back, as you kind of, how you started this? Would you have done anything differently if you were just gonna now looking back on your sailing career so far and kind of making a job out of this?
No way. I mean, I feel like I've been so fortunate and so, it's past is in the past. I have no regrets for any of the experiences that I've had, and all the mistakes I've made have just been lessons learned, right? So that I don't have to repeat them in the future. That's how I look at the things that I look back. I'm like, no, I think I've been really blessed. I think the most important thing in my journey has been the mentors that I've had. People who not only like unlock doors for me, but they show me how to act and show me kind of what that lifestyle that I'm pursuing will look like eventually. And a lot of those mentors for me have all been self-employed. People like Andy Schell and Ben Dorr, and we haven't even talked about them, but Brady Trotman and Alex Blue, who own Cruisers Academy. I worked and lived with them for a little bit too.
You work with them as well. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I love those guys. They are fantastic.
They're amazing. But just all my mentors are all these amazing, fantastic people, and I think that is the way to enter anything new, is to find mentors who will take you under their wing and will show you their opinion. And you don't have to follow that path exactly, but it helps me get a picture of the landscape and to create a map to go forward in, whether it's expedition sailing or, I'm thinking now, I'm like, who should I reach out to in regards to getting on a racing yacht and like building up that part of my skill set. And of course, it's easier for me now that I'm already plugged into the sailing community, but people can reach out to you. That's a start, right?
Yeah, for sure. And you were on the you've kind of you're now mentoring these younger folks that you're teaching, right? And you're just coming up, and that must be pretty cool, and to kind of bring them up and teach them and even be their mentor as well. I imagine. Yeah,
it's so humbling, and it's I learn a lot from these younger folks. Even when I work for Knowles, we have an actual mentor-mentee program where like I am their mentor and they are my mentee, and we have regular check-ins and we talk about their goals and what they're struggling through, and I provide coaching. And to bring it out of that very facilitated context and bring it into the other work that I do with my first mates at Squally's, and even to places like 59 North when I'm working with, the last time I worked for 59 North was with Eric Nordberg. In Portugal. Yeah. And that was super fun. But we definitely use the tools that I picked up from in Knowles to like think through problems and work through like risk management and conflict resolution with the crew.
Very cool. Yeah, I know that's it's so true. You can there's the best ways of learning about sailing and boats and all that is, as we've discussed, it's to be the skipper, to be the captain, and then it's owning a boat, and then it's teaching sailing to somebody else. It's just so instructive. I mean, that's the best way of learning something, is to teach it, I find. So, yeah, massive.
You just have to do it, right? And like that advice is so, it's hard to give, because it's like, oh, just do it. You want to do it? Like, yeah, just go for it. And like, you'll learn that way. But I understand that it can be a big daunting thing to get your teeth into. But I think there are accessible ways, no matter what community you live in. There's like community sailing centers everywhere. There's yacht clubs that are looking for people to sit on the rail most places. So if people are looking to get started, I think those are like really good ways that don't require a ton of money or time.
Yeah. I can't really advise differerently. That's how I learned. Just getting on a boat and just mess around and just get going. It's really it's a very fast way. It's a very fast way of learning. Maybe not always the safest or the most cost efficient way, but it's very, very effective. That's for sure. So yeah. Well, exciting stuff, Ben. I'm looking forward to hearing more about what you might come up with for the future. And it was really cool to catch up. And if you come over to Europe and exercise this new passport of yours, it would be cool to meet again. It's been a while.
Yeah, I would love to. I'll definitely let you know next time I'm in the neighborhood.
Very cool. Yeah, I might come to the Annapolis Boat Show this year. Are you going this year? Or?
I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna try to be there. Hopefully, I'll probably just be there handing out business cards. But who knows? Maybe a booth. Booth could be cool.
Cool. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we'll see how what the world looks like come.
Right.
October, but yes, it would be so cool to go back to Annapolis and to see you. That would be lovely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Ben. It was super cool to catch up. Thanks for for messaging me and getting in touch again, and for coming on the podcast. Full circle. You started. I was actually a little surprised. I thought you might have been on here before, but now you've been the kind of producer, backend media person, and now you've also been a guest on the On the Wind podcast. So full circle.
Yeah, no, it's funny. It is surreal. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to just catch up with you for an uninterrupted hour. It's a privilege, and to reminisce about old times. And then if you have any thoughts. You or anyone in the audience about what I should do with my future, let me know. But I plan to continue delivering yachts, continue becoming the best kind of educator that I can be, and naturalist as well. So I think as long as I keep those core values inside and hold on to those, that'll bring me to right where I need to be.
For sure. I think so too. And if people now have some great ideas on you should do with your life, how can they get in touch with you to tell you?
That's a great question. They can either go to gosquallies.com, which is my website. Squally is just like a squall that we would have out in the ocean. Or they can find Squallies Sailing on Instagram, or you can find me. I'm Bsoof, Bsoof on Instagram. All those things work. So yeah, don't be a stranger if you want to talk more about whale watching, about knolls, about learning to sail, accessibility, having your boat delivered, captain services, anything like that. I'm just a click away.
Fantastic. Good stuff, Ben. All right. Well, thank you very much, and have a wonderful afternoon.
All right, amigo. Thank you. Have a good night, and take care of yourself. I'll see you soon, hopefully.
Cheers. Thanks again to our sponsors, Offshore Passage Opportunities and Rutgerson Marine. Check them out at sailopo.com and rutgerson.se and give them your business. Thank you. On the Wind is the podcast about sailing, created by 59 North and hosted by Andy Schell, Nikki Henderson, and me, August Sandberg. The show is mixed and produced by Andy and myself in Sweden and Norway, respectively. Our intro theme music is composed and performed by former podcast guest, sailor, and musician Cameron Dale, while the outro music you're hearing now is, of course, by our friends the Storm Weather Shanty Choir from Norway. We love hearing from our fans, so send your questions and comments to holdfast@59-north.com, and please do us a favor and review the show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to join us on the Quarterdeck as well to nerd out about seamanship. That's quarterdeck.59-north.com. Until next time, hold fast.
I made up me mind that I was inclined to go to sea no more. No more, no more, to go to sea no more. I made up me mind that I was inclined